Welcome to 101. I'm Greg Bassett, your host from the Salisbury Independent newspaper. It's a big day here at PAC 14. We're continuing our interviews with council candidates in Wicomico County. Today we have James Winn. He's running at large in Wicomico as a Republican. Welcome, James.
Thank you.
So you're a political newcomer. What are you hearing out there when you're campaigning?
Well, some of the things that I'm hearing right now is public safety, and firemen. We need to do what we can to take care of our firemen right now. That's one of the big things. And then, schools,
So let's dig into firemen a little bit. That's a growing issue in terms of the volunteer firefighter shortage and the idea
Right.
of having good EMS and fire coverage. And some of the proposals are that maybe we find a way to develop a county-wide paid firefighting corps. Where are you on that?
Well, I've been campaigning since Christmas, and I've talked to a lot of chiefs and a lot of firemen, and they don't want they don't want it to be paid.
Right.
I'm sure that would be nice, and they're appreciative of it. But these firemen, they're not volunteering for money. They're not
Right.
volunteering for that. They're volunteering because they love the service. What they want and is a little bit of help. If you live in Wicomico County and you drive around and you get on Facebook, you can see that they have fundraisers every single week.
Right.
Funding is a pretty big issue for them. Retention and recruitment are others. The county can do a little bit to help with funding. We can reallocate a little bit of money to help them out, just so they don't have to fund every single weekend.
Right.
If they can take their efforts away from having to worry about finances, then they can focus on recruitment and retaining their people.
Right.
I can speak like that for that personally for this campaign that I'm running. I mean, money. If I didn't have to worry about money, I'd be out talking to people every single day. But I have to raise money, so that kind of ties my arm behind my back a little bit. So when you go ahead and help them out with funding, then I think it doesn't have to be a whole lot. They're not asking for the world. They're asking for just a little bit more than what they're getting.
Right. There's also been some talk about maybe extending some tax credits to volunteers.
Yeah, I love tax credits. I mean, they're working for free. They put gas in their truck to drive to our emergencies for free. I live in Mardella, and I live close enough to hear the fire alarm, and it goes off when I'm sleeping. When I'm in bed, when I'm eating dinner. When I'm brushing my teeth in the morning, it goes off.
Right.
And the people that are volunteering, they do it, without question. I've got one that lives right next to me, and when I hear that fire alarm go off, I mean, that's all I hear is the truck start up, and they are hitting the gas, heading to the firehouse, and my heart goes out to those people. And we should be we should be respecting that and taking care of that as best as we can.
Right. You mentioned schools, too. Schools have become kind of a hot issue lately. At the school boards, it's become kind of a battleground. Parents don't feel like they're being listened to. What are your thoughts on how this is going with the schools?
Yeah, so that's a good question. So before I decided to run, and it's been a while, I actually started going to the Board of Education meetings. I started going to Board of Ed meetings and voicing my concerns, when they did the face mask and when they tried to the rumor of the vaccines and everything. So, I wanted to be there to make sure that, my voice and thoughts were heard, and there was lots of other people's voices heard too. And it fell on deaf ears, I believe. And that's a shame because, we give them a lot of money, and if they just do what the people want them to do, then people wouldn't be getting so upset at these board meetings.
Right. Is it one of those things like they're the experts and we kind of have to leave it to them, or is some common sense missing?
I believe in school choice. That's on one of my platforms, and parent choice. And I believe that if we give the money back somehow in a school voucher form, and that's going to give the parents authority. That's going to give them more of a say. When we go to these school board meetings, it feels as if that they don't get the say that they need, and that's probably why parents don't even show up to these school board meetings.
Right.
I use the analogy of like if you go to church,
Right.
right? You give the church 10% of your money, and when you give your church the 10% out of your own pocket, you feel obligated now to be a part of that church and make decisions with that church. So I view it kind of like that with the school board. If we give, like right now with the way it's set up, the money is just taken out of, it's just taken out with taxes. There's no handing it to the school
Right.
when it's taken out. My approach and my thought process of it is if we give the accountability back to the parents, if we give them the authority back, we give them the money, then they could go ahead and use a voucher and send their kid to wherever they want to send their kid. Because I think there's about 3,000 kids that go to private school right now.
Right.
And the way it looks, I would like to send my kid to a private school. And we're paying for our kids to go to school. It shouldn't matter if it's a state-run school or if it's a private-run school.
Do private schools help make the public school system better by encouraging competition?
Yeah, I think the private schools are excellent for encouraging competition. The issue is that the way it's set up now is that the public schools can do what they want and there are no repercussions, right? Like I said, if you go to a Board of Ed meeting, there is no say, pretty much. You can go there and speak your mind, but it falls on deaf ears. And that to me is a little upsetting, and like I said, if we go ahead and, give the parents the money, they can send their kid to a public school, they can send their kid to any school they want to send them to. And what that's going to do is that's going to create a healthy competition. What that's going to do is that's going to create more opportunities for more schools to show up. And ultimately, that's going to create a more efficient school system, and salaries will actually increase.
Right. As a council member, though, how can you bring that point forward and try to get support for it?
So yes, that's a good question, because I'm only one vote, and it's got to start somewhere. It's got to start on the local level. I can voice it. I can spread my opinion on it. I think I like my opinion on it, obviously, and I think it's a good one to fight for. Because I don't have any kids right now. And when I do, I want to be able to have a program such as that where I can go ahead and take the money that's owed to my kids, that we're paying taxes for, that my parents are paying taxes for, that you're paying taxes for, and take that and say, hey, look, let's send our kid to wherever I want to send my kid. And it's my option, it's my choice.
Right.
And
for people who might not know James Winn, because you're new to this, who's James Winn? I know you have a small business. You work with your dad. Tell us about what you do.
Yeah, so me and my father own a custom tile business. We have a couple showrooms, one in Salisbury and one in Cambridge, Maryland. I've been in business my entire life. That's, since I could walk, my dad put me to work. And so that was about, that's been a long time. Yeah, so I love to hunt, I love to fish. The outdoor way of life is something that I do miss because of this campaign. I don't even remember what I used to do. It's been such a long time since, like I said, I've been campaigning since Christmas. And I used to go hunting all the time. I used to go fishing a lot.
Right.
And ever since this campaign, I've just been, hard at it, trying to get out and meet people and learn questions and concerns about the individuals in this county. We have 103,000 people in this county, and I could knock on doors till next Christmas and not meet them all.
Right. You're what they might call like a new Republican. Are you feeling kind of the same kind of support out in the county for the values and viewpoints that you bring?
A new Republican. I would say I'm a young Republican. The ideology of it is, I guess, is kind of new. The school choice aspect of it.
Right.
They're doing it in Arizona now, statewide, and I'm kind of interested to see how that's going to turn out. I know they're doing it in parts of Michigan, and I would like to see that here. I think that's going to be the new turn to where education turns. That way, the parents can get what they want out of education for their kids.
Right. You mentioned crime and safety issues. What can be done as a county councilman to help fight crime, help Mike Lewis and those guys?
Yeah, so a good thing would be to make sure that we don't defund our police. We control a big budget for our county sheriffs. And actually, I was just endorsed by the FOP. One of the things we can do is make sure we stand by our FOP. You know, they feel like that we have the representation doesn't stand by them. As I mean representation, I mean the elected officials. They're not right beside them, you know, and they make tough calls. And the way I use this, I had another analogy, you know, it's like a football player, you know, they're professionals. They've been training for years and years. These police officers, they're professionals. They've been training for years and years. And when we wake up on Monday morning, should we, you know, judge what the cop had to do to get the job done? Now, we may not all agree on every circumstance, and I think that's why this Police Accountability Board was brought up. But, I mean, we still have to give them the respect that they deserve.
Right. Revenue cap's a big issue. Revenue, the county trying to address spending needs going forward. Does the county have the revenues it needs? Are we overtaxed? Are there efficiencies in government we need to tap? Where are you on that?
Yeah, so I believe that the revenue cap should stay. Now, the reason why I believe it should stay is because we get taxed a lot. You know, when we get taxed a lot, I did the math, and overall, with all of the federal, state, local, gas, everything, we're talking 60% of our money. You know, and I think one thing that a council member can do, not just get a grant writer, but we can go across the bridge and go talk to our delegation in person, tell them we need our money back. You know, they tax us quite a lot of our money, and they spend it on other projects that don't benefit us down here in Wicomico County. And that would be something that I would try and bring to the table if I did come across the finish line in November, is how can we go ahead and get more with less? You know, like I said, there's a lot of money that comes out of our paychecks. I mean, if you don't believe me, go ahead and get a job and look at your paycheck at the end of the end of the week. So that's something that I would like to do, is see what we can get as far as money across the bridge to help balance out some of our budget. That way we can take that money and put it towards projects like our sewer and water. I mean, that's a big project coming up that we're going to tackle. And I was doing the math in my head. I was looking at a revised version from 2010, right? I graduated back then. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We've been talking about this for a very, very long time, and it's about time we get started in some of these low-lying areas like Whitehaven and Bivalve. You know, when people flush a toilet and it comes out of the tub,
right.
You know, we've got problems. You know, so we need to be able to get money from our state and from the federal government to pay for these things. And
right.
It could cost us $100 million just to even get started on this sewer and water.
Yeah, it's going to be expensive, but you agree it's needed.
Yo, money, yeah. We do.
I mean the project as a whole.
Oh, yeah, the sewer and water? Yeah, I mean, like I said, there's people that they have septics that they can't even flush their toilet,
right.
You know? So what do? So we have to do something. And whether it be, you know, I believe the plan calls for like substations. You know, we can put substations down in these low-lying areas and help out our town municipalities like Sharptown and Hebron. You know, I know Sharptown is looking to not deal with it anymore because it's more expensive and a hassle than they need. So if we had a county-wide sewer, we could have one guy go ahead and service all of our sewers throughout the whole entire county. And that could that'll help with the double tax,
right?
You know, because we've got people that live in these other towns that have
the tax differential issue.
Yeah, the tax differential issue.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Instead of having the same guy that does the sewer, he also cuts the grass and he also cleans up. You know, we could have one guy do the entire county, instead of, you know, just all these town municipalities doing it individually.
Right. All right, give me your 1-minute pitch. Why should the voters, the at-large voters in Wicomico County, vote for you to be their next county councilman?
Yeah, so I'm going to do whatever I can to protect our rights in Wicomico County. The past 3.5 years is exactly why I'm running. Our rights have been walked on, and I had enough of it, and I just wanted to get involved. So if you want to vote for me, I'll ensure that we make sure we keep our rights protected here at home.
He's James Winn. He's running for county council in Wicomico County at large. He's a Republican, and we're thrilled he had time to be here today on PAC 14. Thanks, James, for being here.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I'm Greg Bassett from the Salisbury Independent newspaper. Be sure and catch all the candidate interviews on the PAC 14 YouTube page.